Assets. Well, this is part 2 on how to start prepping, and this is level 2 EDC, which stands for everyday carry. Everyday carry is, like the name says, it's something that you carry almost every day. It's like just when you go to work, from work, if you just go take a walk, if you just go with your girlfriend into the city. That's just the everyday situations where something small, we could call this the small disasters, some small scenarios that could happen in everyday life. Just some simple things. There is somewhere a car accident, or perhaps your car broke down and you need to fix it somehow. Your bike, the chain is blocked, you need to get it out. You cut yourself by walking along some bushes with some thorns on it, and you got now a cut. You got some tearing in your clothing, or you just do not have toilet paper when you go to the restaurant or something. Those are just small things that could happen, but it's actually a part of your prepping, because if you only prepare for the big disasters, yeah, when do you think there is a big disaster, would you ask? So it's more likely that the small disasters will happen every day. It could be something very, very stupid. So I will now talk about EDC, everyday carry. Everyday carry could just something be simple as your clothing. I would advise to wear clothing that is comfortable and of good quality, and just something that you can and be ready for anything. Like, a good example is, if you meet an aggressor, a robber, or just a drunk person you do not want to talk about on the street who is hassling you, you can just run away, and if they are persistent, you will have to fight. But if you have clothing that is not well for that situation, that could turn into a bigger problem then. So just an example is, like I said before, if you have to run away, do not wear high heels, because that will make it very difficult to walk, jump, and fight back. So yeah, just have some good shoes is a very good start. You can improve them, like put some paracords where the shoestrings are. Just some cargo pants, very handy. A lot of pockets. You can put your wallet, your cell phone in it, some money. So that thing, you will always have something with you, because if you have to into a certain area, you cannot always get your packet, handbag or a rucksack or a backpack is perhaps the word, with you. So cargo pants can be very handy. I always wear my multi-tool with me. A multi-tool is just one of the basic things you can have on your EDC, to be honest. So with this just like a small, you can do almost so many repairs with this, for almost so many everyday things that could happen. So I prefer it to always have it on your body as one of the most important things. Just something small, if you can see, a bobby pin, in case you get into handcuffs and you need to get out. Look at my video on how to get out of those. So yeah, a good jacket, because you never know what the weather is. So this is an example of a good EDC jacket. Look at my video on EDG jackets. But this is a good jacket because first of all, it's a good grey man jacket. A grey man jacket means it's a neutral jacket. It means if you walk into a certain area, people will not glance you. Criminals will not see you as a potential target who has a lot of money on their pocket, or even a nice jacket that they want to steal or to draw bad attention to. The same thing is especially like for women. If you dress too sexy in certain areas of the city, yeah, you will get harassed, and you do not want that. That's also a way of to think about the EDC. yeah, this is also a summer and winter jacket. In the winter, it keeps you warm against rain, wind. So that's good. And in summer, even in summer, you can open certain pockets that you can flow air through it. So yeah, this is a good example of EDC clothing. So just have some good clothing that is comfortable, has some pockets where you can, that's another thing that has a lot of pockets, where you can put some small gear in, so you will not get noticed by people who want to rob you or will give you a bad eye. So that's an important part of the EDC, the general clothing, and it will help you in a lot of situations, even if it's just rain that falls. So we talked about EDC back in one of my earlier videos. I will probably do one again because it always changes. So I will open it up in another video that I will make for it. But an EDC bag is just a small bag that you can easily walk around. It can be just a backpack like this, a shoulder bag, or even a small pouch that you can wear on your belt, like something small like this with a few things like a multi-tool, lighter, bobby pin, picking tool, that such things. But an EDC bag, it's just something small where the most basic things should be in it. And it shouldn't, I would not advise to get something, how do you say this, something not too tactical looking, because if you have something that is camouflaged with all the trinkets of a special forces bag, that also will draw attention. So yet again, be a gray man, look neutral, do not look like an interesting target for your for the aggressors and probably thieves around us. So what do you put in a EDC bag? Well, I would advise to how do you say this? First of all, water. Water is very important. You never know when you get stuck into a traffic stop for hours in a hot summer day. Yeah, that could be very dangerous if you do not have water. So it is just one of those military canteens filled with water. I always have them, so I never go thirsty. And it's not only for, you do not only need water for your thirst, but it's also for perhaps you stepped into some dog shit and you wiped it off and you got something on your fingers. So you can now clean it off a little bit instead of walking around with it. So it's a little bit for sanitation if there are burning wounds, that such thing. So water is very important. It doesn't matter if it's like this, a metal canteen, or just a small plastic bottle of water. Always have water in your EDC bag. Another thing I would advise is a small first aid kit. Just something with the basics, some bandages, some how do you say this? Some tape, medical tape, some disinfection. Yeah, those are the basic things. A pin set to get splinters out, burning gel for burning wounds. I mean, bandages. I would also advise, because I always have this one of the best things that you can put in this are Israeli bandages. That's something between a tourniquet and pressing bandages. So that way, if there is a terrible wound and you need to put a lot of pressure on it, Israeli bandages, always put it in your EDC bag. You can also, if you expect really the worst, a tourniquet in it, but mostly Israeli bandages will be sufficient. What can you also put in your EDC bag? Just perhaps a picklock. Yet again, you need to have knowledge, like I said in the previous video, on how to use it, because if you get trapped somewhere, you can liberate yourself out of it, but only use it for a good purpose, in those scenarios, purposes. Always have a snack in your EDC bag. It could be something small like energy bars, or one of those small emergency rations. Just something small that, like if you've forgotten your lunch, yeah, that could be a problem, but no worries, you have some energy bars or an emergency ration to get yourself through the day till you can get to a proper meal. Or when your blood sugar is a little bit low, that also could help. So I would advise to certainly put that in. um, what else? A multi-tool, very important. You can always have, like I said before, a multi-tool on your waist, but I always put one in my EDC. Some way to filter water in case your water bottle is empty. Just have something small. It could be a small water filter, purification tablets. Could be something very simple like that. Um, there are so many things you can put in an EDC bag, but to be honest, I'm not going into that depth because that's more adapted to my personal situation. I'm now just saying the most common things that everyone could carry. Another thing, money. Always have some cash in your EDC bag, because if you get lost somewhere and you need to get a bus ticket to get back home, a taxi, if you want to buy some water or some food because you've forgotten your lunch or you lost your water, that's also a way. If you have to pay to use a phone or something, those are the things that you can do. Another thing, a way to make fire, I would advise, don't make it too complicated. You could put a fire starter, like a sparker in it, but when are you gonna use that in everyday situations? I would just advise a little small package of matches and a lighter. That way you have two ways and you'll always be able to make fire in any circumstance. So yeah, that's something very good. Another thing I would advise is, this might not be legal in too many countries, but I always keep some homemade pepper spray in my EDC bag. It's disguised as a hand gel for disinfecting your hands, so in case there is an aggressor, I can spray it in his eyes and I can run away. So I'm not hurt, he's not hurt, he's not hurt very bad, and there is no further casualty in the confrontation. So something to defend yourself, something simple like that, because if you want to defend yourself, this is a mistake that a lot of people make with their EDC bag, don't put knives in it, because if security or police holds you and take a look in your bag and they find a knife, that's not good in almost any country that happens. So it's something simple like this pepper spray, I would advise to put in it. Another thing I would advise are a flashlight. It doesn't have to be a flashlight that is big like this. It could be one of those very small pocket, how do you say this, keychain flashlights. Just something to make light, whether it's a chem light stick, but don't leave them in too long, because if you watch one of my videos you know what will happen. Wink wink. So a way to make light when there is a blackout, when the electricity falls out, or when you're trapped in a building where there is no lights, or at night during your walk and the street lights are out. Those are just some small things that you can put in it. It doesn't have to be a big one, because this is actually a little bigger EDC bag, but it can be any size. You can make it as big as you want. So yeah, those are the most important things. Another thing I would advise, if I can reach it, is a shamak. I have made a video about 55 survival uses for a shamak, and this is just a cotton blanket that you can throw, and it has more than 55 survival uses. Definitely put this, roll it up so it's compact in your EDC bag, and you see how small this thing could be. So yeah, those are the most important. Another thing I would advise to put in next to your shamak, just some paper handkerchiefs, or how do you say this? Yeah, paper handkerchiefs is the best word. in case you have to press a wound, if you have to wipe your mouth and there is nothing to do it in the restaurant or the bar, if you have to wipe your nose to make an improvised fire as a kindle, if you have to do number 2 and yeah, you need to wipe your hiney. So those are the things that I would definitely put in your EDC bag. There are so many things, other things you can do. You can get some needle thread to repair clothing, some duct tape. Although another tip that you can do is put some tape around the lighter, and that way you always have duct tape, and that way you can conserve weight, room in your EDC bag. So yeah, those are the things the most important things that you have to put in your EDC bag. There are so many things you can do more, but definitely get the things I named in this video and you'll be good for the most situations. And with the knowledge you can improvise and use some things as that are multifunctional for other purposes. So yet again, knowledge is power, and that way you can do a lot with a few things, because that's what prepping is about. Do more with fewer things. Alright, I think I'm through with the EDC part about preppers. So this was level 2 of how to start prepping. If you get this alright. Oh, by the way, I want to mention one more thing. EDC bag is also a part you have to take in account, discipline, because you always have to take your EDC with you, whether it's your pouch on your belt, whether it's EDC bag, whether it's your EDC clothing. You will always have to have the discipline to have it with you, whether it's your EDC in your car in the parking lot in your car, or you always carry it every day like I do. People sometimes laugh at it, but that's another thing. People may laugh at it, but that's another thing. You don't let it bother you, because you will help them when they are in trouble with your stuff. If somebody is wounded, somebody needs to wipe their ass because they couldn't find a toilet, those are just the small things you can help other people and yourself with: the EDC bag, EDC pouches, EDC clothing, and that way you get through most annoying situations in everyday life. Yeah, I think I'm around. Subscribe, would really appreciate it. Leave a comment if you liked it. I would advise to always look more information up about different sources, about different people, and especially test it out. That's another thing that many people don't do with even their EDC gear, and that is test it out. They just put it in a bag and they never test it out. So when the time comes, they don't even know how to use it. So don't make that mistake when you start with your EDC gear. Test it all out, so it doesn't break, that you know that the quality is good. Yeah. Oh, I know I can keep, that's the problem with this thing, I can keep rambling on. So if you want to go in depth with most things, just look at my other videos where I go in depth with the specifications of my bags. But yeah, the last point I want to make is, if you start building your EDC, don't buy pre-made or prefab EDC packages. Those are just companies that want to make a profit with the most cheapest gear and trinkets that will help you survive between hooks. So make your own gear. Make your how do I say this best? Try to buy the best gear to your financial or personal situation. A good knife doesn't have to be the best modern tactical knife. It can just be a wooden metal knife with a wooden and how do you say this, where you hold it. So it doesn't have to be expensive. You just make it as expensive as you only make it yourself. So yeah, try to put it together yourself with the gear that you trust and you're more experienced with, is perhaps what I want to say. So yet again, I'm going to try to stop this video. So this was level 2. Subscribe, leave a like, all those things, and see you in the next video. We're going to talk about level 3, and that will be the thing that most people will start with, and that's the Edc Bag. So see you in the next video.